Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to Exclusive Models. Hope you have a wonderful day. Today's episode is going to be on how to cut this super stylish elegant style using this fabric. So if you want to cut this style for an adult, you make use of 5 yards of any fabric of your choice. So the first thing I'll be cutting out here is the half cut. This particular style I'm talking about, it has an half cut. It has a pleat around the half cut. It has a flounce at the joining of the half cut to the flare, and it also has a long sleeve. The long sleeve has a pleat at the shoulder, and it also has a princess dart at the half cut. So it's a turtleneck dress. You can make it any style. You can make it the round neck if you want, and you can also make it that turtleneck you are seeing on the screen. So the first thing I'll be cutting out here is the half cut. The length of the half cut I'm making use of will be 10 inches. This is 10 inches. So after cutting it out, the next thing is to fold it. So this is now the half cut. This is my zip allowance. So the next thing I'll be taking is the shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement I'm taking here is 5 inches. Then shoulder slant of 1 inch. Shoulder slant of 1 inch. Then I'll be taking my arm measurement of 5 inches also. Like this. Then the next thing is to take the bust measurement. This is where the bust measurement is going to be. Then from here I'll be taking my bust measurement of 22 inches. That is 5.5 inches. Then with the same allowance of 1.5 inches, then at the down part here I'll be taking my waist measurement of 20 inches. That is 5 inches because it's folded into 4. With the same allowance of 1.5 inches. Then I'll be connecting the lines together. So let me keep this aside. If I want to cut it, I'm going to place it back. So the next thing to take now is to divide the armhole into 2. Now the armhole is 5 inches. The half of it is going to be 2.5 inches. Then I'll be taking ½ inch in so that it will give me the nice shape of the armhole. So from there I'll be using my armhole core. So you can see. So this is the ½ inch. You can see, even though you didn't divide the armor into two. So far you're using the armor core, it's going to give you this particular shape. It's going to deduct half inch from the armor. On the back folding, leave your zip allowance the way you want it. It can be 1 inch, can be more than 1 inch. It depends on how you want your zip allowance to be. Then we're going to cut it out. So after this, now the next thing I'll be taking is the neckline. It's a turtleneck, and I told you can make any neckline of your choice, but here I'm making use of a turtleneck. So the garment of my neck will be 1.5 inches here. The deepness is going to be 1.5 for the back, then 2 inches for the front. Ignore this, please. Then I'll be using my armor cut to bring out the shape of the neck. So you can see the neckline. If you are making for a bigger size, you can use 2.5 inches for the wideness, then 2 inches for the deepness of the back, 3 inches for the deepness of the front. Then I can now cut it out. I'm cutting out the back and front first. Then I can now cut out the front separate. You can see now, this is the back, then this is the front. So we are done with the cutting of the half cut. So the next thing to cut now is the flay, the down part. You can also make it a full flay, you can make it a slant A-line. The particular one on the dress is a slant A-line. It's not a flay dress. It's not a flay cut. It's a slant A-line. So how can you go about that slant A-line? Is by folding your fabric into two first. When you fold the fabric into two first, this way, like this, then the next thing, this is into two. Then the next thing is to fold this a slant A-line into four. You can see it's like a flay already. So when you cut out the one to attach to the half cut here, then you take the length of the skirt. You can see it. This is a slant A-line. You take out the upper cut to attach to the half cut, then take the length of the skirt. Now if you want to add a flay to it, a flay, no, the first one I showed to you was a slant A-line. This is now going to be a flay. This is how to fold a flay. This is like a complete triangle. You can see it. This is into two, then into four, like a triangle. You can see it. Into two, into four. You can see it's quite different from the first one, and this will be more full than the first one. So the next thing we're going to take here is to take the waist measurement. Now my waist measurement is 20 inches. What we use on the half cut. So to determine my waist measurement here, I'll be using 7 inches. 7 inches. 7 inches. 7 inches. I'm going to connect them together. So you know the waist measurement is 20 inches and this is 5 inches. You can see. So this half inch is going for the zip allowance at the back. So this is okay. So the length of my skirt is going to be 22 inches with the seam allowance. You can see it. This is 20 inches with the seam allowance. So this is after checking it out. The next thing is to cut it. So this is now the skirt. You can see it. This is the skirt now. You can see it. So the next thing to cut now is the sleeve. So I want to draft how to cut that particular sleeve. So the first folding is going to be into 2, but if you are cutting for 2 sleeves at once, you are going to fold into 4. So this is into 2. Since we are still going to place this on the fabric to cut it out. So the length of the sleeve is going to be 12 inches. With the same allowance, I'm using 12 inches. So make sure if you are folding your fabric into 4, for the foldings, the measurement of the folding, you have to know the roundness of the upper sleeve before you can fold. So the roundness of the upper sleeve will be here, which is 5 inches. Mine is 5 inches. So the allowance is still there. So I'm using 6 inches. You can see it will be enough for me to use. So after that, I will be coming down to 3 inches. So if you want to cut this for an adult, you can use 5 inches or 6 inches. Then from here, I'm going to sketch it out like this. You can see the way I sketch it. Then I'm going to take my lower round sleeve here, which is going to be 4.5 inches. Then from here, I'll be slanting it down to 4.5 inches. You can see. So to get the perfect shape of the sleeve, the 4.5 inches that I used here, I'm going to deduct 1 inch from it. 1 inch. This is the 1 inch from it. So from this 1 inch, I'll be slanting it all to this area. You can see. Then from here, I'll complete it like this. You can see, you cannot see the shape of the sleeve. You can see. So the sleeve is going to be in pieces. So the next thing is to cut it out. So if you are using pattern to cut this particular sleeve out, and if this has shortened the length, the wideness of the sleeve, you can also add it up. You can add the allowance up when placing it on the fabric. You can see it now. So this is what I'm going to place on the fabric. Then I can still add 1/2 inch of seam allowance to each round. So the next thing is the flounce attached to the half cut. I'll be cutting that directly on the fabric by folding it into 2 first, then into 4. You're going to fold it like a souffle. That is going to be in 4 places. You can see. So the next thing to take here is the length of the flounce. I'll be making use of 8 inches. This is 8 inches. Eight inches. Eight inches. Then I'll be connecting them together. You can see. After then, I'll be cutting it out. So the next thing is to take it down. That is the radius. I'll make 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches for the radius. Then I'll be cutting it out. You can see, you cannot open it out. Then divide it into 2. You can see. So the next thing you're going to do here is to get that sharp edges on it. After dividing the flounce into 2, the next thing to take is to make that angle. You can see this is where it ends. When you slant it from that edge, this is where it ends. You can see it now. Then I'll be chalking it out like this. You cannot cut it out. So this is now the 2 edge. You can see it. You can see it. So by the time we put this at the waist, it's going to give us that shape. So there is a pleat at the waist. I'm going to use this for the pleat. The length is going to be more than the half cut. The actual half cut is 10 inches, and I'm using 11.5 inches. You can see. So this is okay for the pleat. And also the wideness, the waist measurement is 20 inches. That means the half is going to be 10 inches. Then I have 15.5 inches here. So by the time I plait it and place it, the excess, I'm going to cut it out. So this is what I'll be using for the pleat. So back to the half cut to cut out the princess dart. The first thing I'll be taking here is the breast point. From here, the breast point is 6 inches. This is my breast point here. You can see this is where the breast point is. The distance of the 2 busts is going to be 5 inches. This is where the 5 inches is. So the distance of the 2 busts is going to be 5 inches. This is my 5 inches. You can see. Then here, this is the 6 inches from the shoulder. 6 inches is here. You can see. This is the distance of the 2 busts, which is 5 inches. You can see. So this is now the point. The point is here. So at the armhole here, I'll be making use of 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. You can see this is where I has 3.5 inches. Then I'll be cutting it down to the half cut here. You can see this is the breast point, taking the measurement from the shoulder to the breast point. This is the 3.5 inches from the armhole. Then we'll be cutting it down to the length of the half cut. Then I'll be connecting them together. You can see now. Then from here it's going to be a straight cut. Then for the back, you can also make it equal at the back. So to deduct the dart measurement, to make the princess dart come out, you can do this on higher measurement also. So I'm making use of 0.3 here, here too. Then I'll be connecting into the center of this area. The same thing applicable to this area. You can see. Then this is the area that we're going to cut out, just to hold the dart, to make the dart frame. So you can see. Then from here, I'm going to cut it out. So I'm going to stop it here now. This is for both back and front. So let me go and cut all this on the fabric and show it to you. This is the sleeve, and this is the half cut. You can see this is the blouse at the front. This is the play at this down part. This is the straight cut for the pleat at the front. You can see. At the sleeve. This is the split at the waist. You can see this area is smaller than this area. You can see this goes up more than this. You can see how slant it is. The first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. You can see it. You can see the four split, and this is the flounce. is how I joined it. I notch the center of the flounce, then I stitch it at the princess dart here. This is the center of the flounce, 1 inch for the pleat. You can see it. This is only the wideness of the pleat. You can see it now. Then I stitch it there. This is now the shape of the flounce now. This is the two edges of the flounce. You can see it. So this is now the shape of the flounce. This is how it's going to be. This is the down part, the flay cut that we cut out. You can see the way I folded this down part to achieve this flay. And you can see the pleat, the other side too. This is the neckline. This neckline you can make use of it by us to turn it in. You can also add a turtleneck to it by cutting out 4/8 inches. Fold it into 2 to give it 2.5 inches. Then you tape it in. You tape it on the neckline. The 1/2 inch is going for the seam around, the 2 inches is going for the standing collar, just to give it the turtleneck. So you can see how beautiful this is now. You can see it. You can see how simple this is. This is the back. This is the back with the zip allowance. You can see. So I'm going to add my zip to this area. It's the essence of the flay that I pleat here. This is the essence. You can also make a pleat around the waist. You can also use it to make a kiss pleat at the back or at the front like this. So you can see how simple this is. This is the princess dart. You can see the princess dart, the two princess darts. So you can see how simple this is and how beautiful it turns out. If you're making it for an adult, make sure you're using 5 yards to be able to achieve what you're going to cut out. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial so far. If you're watching me for the first time, please at the end of this time, subscribe to my channel. And for those people that already subscribed, I really appreciate you guys for watching my video. May Almighty Allah enrich your pocket. See you in my next tutorial. Assalamu alaikum.